Hi, Mike McGinnis with agriculture.com, visiting today with Ryan LeGrand of the U.S. Grains Council. He's the president and CEO. And of course, the Grains Council having an international grain marketing meeting in the early part of February. And Ryan would like to get your thoughts on some of the hot topics as far as what the Grains Council is working on and what the challenges look like for this upcoming year. So thanks for joining us.
That's right. Thanks, Mike. Yeah, we are here at our International Marketing Conference, and this year it's virtual, as are most events right now. We were set to be in Savannah, Georgia during this time, but we've had to postpone that and remain in a virtual state here. But this is where we bring our international directors in to talk with our membership, and those members are farmers, agribusinesses, and state departments of agriculture. And we all get together and kind of talk about our plans for the upcoming year, what markets we see that need some extra attention, and maybe where we need to redeploy resources in other areas. So it's a great opportunity for our membership to see what our people around the world are doing.
Well, right now, the shiny object for the corn industry is China. They came in late in 2020 and bought big. They're continuing that insatiable appetite early this year. The comment is, what do you do with this new increased buying from China as far as your plans to get out around the world and promote U.S. corn? The question, I guess, becomes if they continue to buy large amounts like they are, how does this affect the buying of other global buyers? They seem to be waking up our other current global customers already.
Yeah, they certainly do. You know, China's got the hot hand and what a year to be talking about corn exports. We're looking at a potential record year for corn exports. It's really been a good story in the overall balance sheet for U.S. corn. And it has gotten the attention of other buyers. If you look at the top 5 buyers, that it now includes China, but it also historically has included Mexico, Japan, Colombia, and South Korea. They're still right there in the top 5, but they're up substantially versus last year as well. So I think they're making steps to snatch up all the supplies they can, while China has put on 17.5 million metric tons from the U.S. Another interesting category that we're keeping our eyes on is the unknown destination category. Corn sold to unknown destinations is at nearly 8 million tons. That's a record as well. So there's just a lot of U.S. corn on the books, and we can see that the demand picture is pretty solid around the world.
Are all of the recent purchases from China just a one-year wonder?
We don't think so. We believe the demand is there. Their stocks have been depleted over the last couple of years. We don't know how much. That's always been a bit of a black box. How much does China have in storage? We know it's been depleted from seeing the auctions happening over there, where nearly 100% of the corn that they put up for auction each week is sold, and it's being sold at record prices. The demand is there. We don't think it's a one-year wonder.
So what do you think are the year-by-year projections on how much corn China might need, and also about their DDG or ethanol year-by-year needs?
Yeah, I'm not usually one for making predictions, right? But I think China, as a consistent 15 million ton corn buyer per year, is not out of the stretch of imagination. You look at distillers' grains, they have an anti-dumping countervailing duty case against U.S. distillers' grains right now. So that's preventing any DDG from going in the market. When, we've seen, though, they have quite a demand for that product as well, and they can buy upwards of 5 million tons or more of distillers' grains. Ethanol, we've heard about recent purchases China has made. 200 million gallons is what we've heard for the first half of 2021. I think that's a drop in the bucket for what China can use. We see their overall potential at E10 as a nation is about 4 billion gallons. How much they would actually use depends on how far they go to implement an E10 strategy nationwide. But, a few hundred, 500 million gallons for China of ethanol a year is not out of the question.
And what about their hog herd? Hit by the African swine fever last year, it seems like they're repopulating fairly quickly. What do we know about their hog herd, and how large it's projected to be for the next 1 or 3 or 5 years?
Yeah, there's a few things going on there, and it's contributing to the demand that we're seeing, right? The hog herd is rebuilding, and it's rebuilding in a modernized way. They're not going to get rid of all of the backyard farm operations, but they are trying to consolidate and build more modern hog operations going forward after they've had such a devastating loss from African swine fever. That's a major part of the demand picture that we're seeing. A couple of other things that's happening here is the ban on the use of spent food waste. China used to allow spent food waste collected from restaurants and other places to be fed into hog rations. That's no longer allowed. That's demand that was not there before, and it's contributing to the grain demand that we're seeing, along with the rebuilding of the hog herd. Another thing that we saw during ASF, when China had their herd decimated, they put in poultry production, a lot of poultry production, some beef as well, and even some mutton production. So all those combined are really helping that demand picture in China.
Let's switch to ethanol. I know the U.S. Grains Council is looking at this piece of the pie as far as corn use. The U.S. ethanol industry is taking a huge hit in 2020. What do you think if the U.S. ethanol plants can't find enough business here domestically? What's the outlook worldwide?
Well, the major demand driver for U.S. ethanol will always be the United States market, plain and simple. That's going to be about 85% or more of the demand. So if we don't have that piece, it's going to be a tough go for ethanol. But we are trying to export more and more gallons of ethanol each year, and we've lost that price relationship that we've historically enjoyed a positive price relationship versus gasoline, versus MTBE, aromatics, and some of these other compounds that are used in the gasoline mix. Well, ethanol right now doesn't enjoy much of that price advantage that we typically did. So we're going to lean more on the environmental benefits. It's something we've always done. We've always promoted the environmental benefits of ethanol. But now with climate taking front and center stage with the Biden administration, re-entering the Paris Agreement, we're going to be talking this up as a way that countries can use ethanol to meet their commitments that they made in the Paris Accord and others.
The U.S. Grains Council also is looking at the demand of corn, not just around the world, but here in the U.S. Is there a big story building here for corn? If the world gets back to driving, corn use for ethanol goes up. China and other markets, as you just mentioned, continue to grow in demand. And the acreage around the world is not really growing significantly. Do you think there's a huge story building here for corn?
I think it's very possible. As the vaccines roll out, we have hope for somewhat of a return to normalcy here. And hopefully that includes driving. We need those driving miles back to bring that demand back. And if that continues to build, price is going to have to incentivize that. But I would expect quite an acreage battle come spring.
I know you can't project any estimates on acres, but right now the feeling is across the market that we'll plant roughly 6 or 7 million more acres of soybeans, but still in total more corn acres. The latest estimate, I think, was 94 million for corn, 90 for soybeans. But the world Indian stocks seems to be saying that whatever we grow, we use on an annual basis.
Exactly right. Demand continues to outpace supply on corn. We've seen it for a while now, and we expect that to continue.
All right. Ryan, thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Ryan LeGrand, the President and CEO of the U.S. Grains Council. I'm Mike McGinnis for agriculture.com.